Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler out in California for another episode, a Tuesday episode coming to you guys. We're going to have a really fun segment coming up later on. ESPN put out an article ranking NFL rosters. So essentially power rankings, but they really dove into it a little bit more, where they said the biggest weaknesses, the biggest strengths, the X factors for each team. And Ziggy and I share a common complaint.
Is it fair to say we're pissed?
Yeah, I'm pretty upset with it. I think the ranking is blasphemy, which might give away what team we're upset about. But the NFC North had pretty good representation.
This ranking it's ranking like best to least in terms of like best team going into the 2026 season.
Yeah, they called it a roster ranking, which
best
power
rosters,
rankings. Yeah. But they were going through and look. There's really not much difference, but they just dove into it a little bit more. They said they also had non-starter to watch for. The NFC North, I would say, was quite well represented in this article.
But we'll get into that.
Barring one team, which we will get into a little bit later, and we'll go over all the NFC North teams. There's a Steeler ranking in there that I'm not too happy about. We'll get into all of that.
Are we too low for you? We're too low.
You're too something. You're too something. All right.
Yeah. Steelers were number one on the list. We'll hit World Cup in just a second, but today we do have, I'd call it a bitter. Well, for me and Jack, it's a crushing announcement, but it's a bittersweet announcement for the show. With that, we can turn it over to Ziggy, who has a pretty big life update.
Yeah, this is a huge update, but I'm going to share it here. The Green Bay Packers have claimed Brendan Rice off the waivers from the Las Vegas Raiders. Jerry Rice's kid is going to be a Packer.
Nice.
In all seriousness, this will be my last month with the Paul Farrington Show. I've talked a lot about having a new opportunity coming up at the end of the summer. And I do want to share, because you guys have been with us for a journey for a really long time, that at the end of this summer, I will be moving to Pennsylvania to start initial formation in a postulancy with the Order of St. Augustine. So I'll be doing some religious work with them and deciding whether or not that's something I want to do with my life. I've really enjoyed the time on the show, and I'm looking forward to this last month. Paul, we're going to have a big live stream at the end of the month, right? And raise some money for a yet unspecified charity.
That is the plan.
Ziggy's got me teary-eyed over here.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. We're going to enjoy this month, and we're going to see what comes. But
we're very very happy for you, Ziggy. It's not a joke, by the way, for those of you thinking like we might be pulling your leg. Like Ziggy actually is going to be pursuing this. It's something that's going to happen.
This will be my last month on the show,
which is unfortunate for all of us, but it's
we'll
an opportunity.
The time we have left.
Yeah, and we'll have a great time over the next month. The live stream will be great. Hopefully, we can raise a bunch of money. The show will go on, for anyone who's wondering. We have some really fun opportunities coming up next season. Some more announcements that will wait a little bit more. You may have noticed some changes in our audio feeds. We are going to be joining a network coming up for the regular season. Should be great. We have some sponsorships lined up, like some real growth opportunity for the show. Obviously, we wish that Ziggy was a part of that with us for, doing the show. Me and Ziggy have been together now for 7 years on the microphone, Jack and Ziggy for almost 5. So it's been a long time, but Ziggy, we're very happy that you have this opportunity. Obviously, we will miss you a bunch. It won't be the same show. It's people have always been asked, they're like, are you guys going to bring someone else on? What's it going to look like? For now, it'll be me and Jack and Zach. We'll continue it rolling. There's really no replacing Ziggy, as we know. It's just a different show. So we're definitely going to keep it rolling. The shows, we'll all put in more work because we're going to have to be a little bit smarter, right? Without Ziggy there for fact checking. But the show will still be really good. It'll just be a little bit different, obviously. But there's some great opportunities. So Ziggy, we're very happy for you. It's a great moment.
We are very happy.
We're very sad.
I do have to ask, Paul. An inside source told me that Patrick Sopiski, the Packers Fan Hall of Fame inductee in February, could be joining the show. Is that true?
That's
because if you weren't trying to replace me, I mean, a Packers super fan might be the best thing you could do.
Right now, all all questions regarding Ziggy's departure are going to be pushed to a later date. As far as again, there's no replacing.
Yeah, we still got Ziggy here. We got to we're not enjoy the final few shows with.
Well, so after a month at Tour de France updates, people might be excited to move on to something new.
No, we'll miss you a bunch.
I could go totally off the rails without Ziggy on the show.
Yeah, Jack could go off the rails. No, we'll start bringing on more guests. Like it'll just be a different adaptation of the Paul Farrington show, but we'll still be coming to you probably even more during the season next year. And we'll see what happens. Never say never about a Ziggy return. That's my hope. But as of right now, Ziggy will be leaving the show at about a month. So yeah, an unfortunate.
Can I give a shout out really quick?
Yeah, please.
Can I give a shout out really quick?
Please.
I don't know who this is or if we've met him, but Jack Steinmeier 8798.
Jack Steinmeier.
Did you see the comment he left on our last episode? Jack Steinmeier 8798. He says, "If Jack has 100 fans, I'm one of them. If Jack has 10 fans, I'm one of them. If Jack has 1 fan, it's me. If Jack has 0 fans, I'm dead. If the whole comment section is against Jack, then I'm against the whole comment section. Wow. I'm the #1 Jack defender." So I want to grab a beer with Jack Steinmeier.
I think you can anytime you want, Jack. I think you need to get better at making fake account names if you're just going to name it Jack Steinmeier. Like what? Oh, Jack Weinberger. I can't pick that. What am I going to pick? I know. Jack Steinmeier. No one will think that's me.
I will swear on whatever you want to swear on. That was not me. Like, I'll swear on my grandfather's. I'll swear on anything you want.
Well, you don't have to do that.
I'll swear on my life. This was not me.
Okay, let's before we get into the NFL stuff, a little World Cup talk. Ziggy, you were very happy today. Also, by the way, we're recording right before the USA Belgium game. So anyone who's wondering why we're not talking about that game is because it's about to happen. So hopefully,
there's nothing to talk about. The USA won 8-0.
Yeah, hopefully, but man, if the USA won 8-0, there's a chance that there could be a podcast.
I thought it was 9
actually. Yeah, there's a chance there could be a podcast tomorrow if the USA wins. I'm not ruling that out because it's going to get real if America beats Belgium tonight. Hopefully, again, we'll know by now. By the time you're listening, it would just be so cool to be able to look forward to the game against Spain this upcoming Friday, which would just be awesome. So fingers crossed. By the way, guys, I'll have a couch later today. I'm getting my couch Tuesday for the apartment. So finally, it'll be good to go. Hopefully for the quarterfinal game against Spain. Again, we're talking as if America won. That's why we're not talking about that game. Ziggy, I know that the game that happened earlier.
You still don't have I think you had a couch like weeks ago.
No, that's been the whole thing.
You don't have a couch yet?
No, I still don't have a couch. I've been sitting on a beanbag chair for weeks. It's been ridiculous. That's part of why it's been a little difficult to adjust to Chicago. Is I currently have nowhere to sit. Like this chair is the most comfortable. Well, I have a bed, but I'm not much of a go sit in your bed all day kind of a guy, or even at night. Like I just go there to sleep. Yeah. I try and separate my awake time and my sleep time as far as being like in my bed. But Ziggy, you were very upset with Spain and Portugal. Or you were very happy with Spain and Portugal today?
I mean, I was thrilled that Penaldo finally got eliminated after all the whining and crying and moaning from Penaldo fans.
Now, I have a counter to what you just said, because last week you said you're rooting for USA and for the best path possible for them. Wouldn't the best path possible have been for Portugal to win?
No, not if it involves Penaldo.
Okay, so Penaldo, which for anyone who doesn't realize, Ziggy's talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Penaldo.
He hasn't earned the right to the name Ronaldo. Ronaldo sounds like a name of a great football player. Penaldo is the name of a great penalty goal scorer, which he is. He's maybe the greatest penalty goal scorer of all time.
What is your problem with Cristiano Ronaldo?
Oh, I would have no problem with Cristiano Ronaldo. He's maybe the best penalty kick scorer of all time. This is people think that makes him a good soccer player.
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about Cristiano Ronaldo to be
All he does,
upset
I
with
mean,
this,
all this guy can do is score penalties. You saw it in this game. If you don't give him free penalty kicks, he can't do anything. He just
Are you
sits
upset
there
with-
and cries all game.
Are you upset with older Cristiano Ronaldo or just
He's been this way his whole career. People want to remember him differently because he scored so many penalty kicks that people really think he could actually, like, be a good scorer.
Wow, there are a lot of people.
Ziggy, I think you're jealous of his handsome, sexy looks.
Ziggy's not jealous.
I'm not going to say what I want to say in response to that because we get the show taken off the air.
Oh, geez. Well, Ziggy, you may as well get. I mean, you're going out. You may as well leave it in flames if you do.
Yeah, sure you can. Go ahead.
you can do what you want here.
Say whatever you want.
I thought, guys,
he had a PK against Croatia, didn't he? To go up 2-1.
He did.
Yeah. Again, an unbelievable PK guy. Great truly, penalty. Maybe the best.
It was a fantastic penalty kick.
Yeah,
I thought that, man, how good were the games this weekend? The England-Mexico, to me, guys, I know the hype was crazy. We talked about how excited we were last week on the show. I thought that game is the closest I felt to watching a Sunday night football. Like, and it basically was. It was like watching an unbelievable Sunday night football game where everybody is watching the game. The crowd was unbelievable in Mexico. Like I had chills watching most of the game, and obviously throughout regulation, it was just back and forth madness. I mean, Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane were awesome. The stars showed up. I could not have been more pleased with the viewing experience from England, Mexico.
Well, and imagine, Paul, watching the game live at a bar in Southern California where like 40% of the population is Mexican.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable. Like, I thought there would be a seismic. If Mexico had scored one more goal to tie it up, there would have been seismic activity all across Los Angeles. It would make Northridge look like a joke.
This show got in a little bit of a we had a little bit of a rift going on. Jack and Ziggy were rooting for Mexico, and obviously I was rooting for my ancestors.
I was waiting for Ziggy to be like, no, but can you just imagine how cool that would be? After we go,
I thought that was coming too.
Imagine watching in a bar in Southern California. Oh, is that where you at? No, but imagine how cool that would have been.
That's something
you would have done.
You should have seen in our group chat. Jack, why were you pulling for Mexico?
Just because they were at home in front of 90,000 people.
Very Jack-like, yeah.
Well, Paul roots for misery and evil to win the day. Unless his teams can win, he wants misery and evil to rule.
Oh,
right. Paul would see one of the random rebel guys get shot in Star Wars and be like, "Oh, that's it. I want Darth Vader and the Emperor to win because the guy I was cheering for died." Like once Wedge dies in the Death Star battle.
Sports misery, I root for. I will not deny that. It was.
Wasn't there there was a big war against England? Did we have a big war against England?
Yeah.
What was that? What
war?
The
Revolutionary War.
Yeah, there's been a huge war against them. How can you root for England?
Well, we won that. I feel like we got bragging rights there. If the United States, by the way, if the United States were to play England in the final, which is a possibility, again, by the time you're listening to this, it very well might not be if Belgium had won. But if
way to show some faith in your team, dude.
If the U.S. played England in MetLife in the final, I would have George Washington ride out on a horse leading out our team with Fortunate Son blasting behind him. I think that'd be an epic way to introduce Team USA for the World Cup final.
Jack, are you going to tell him or should I?
What the USA is eliminated?
George Washington's dead, Paul.
Okay, someone dressed as George Washington.
Also, the USA got eliminated.
Yeah, hopefully
they lost.
Hopefully not. But no, I couldn't believe Jack. I understood Ziggy rooting for Mexico, our biggest rival in soccer, because that's just something Ziggy would do. I was pretty disappointed with you cheering on.
You got to understand, I'm not like a big soccer fan. I'm like Mexico is at home, 90,000 fans. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, for me, Ziggy, this actually had nothing to do with wanting to see 90,000 Mexican people upset. I really that didn't cross my mind. Although now that I think about my character arc as a sports fan,
you can see why I would have thought that.
I can see how that happens. I have a weird relationship with England when it comes to cheering them on because they are like England and Italy. That's my dad's English, my mom's Italian. Those have always been the teams that I would root for. Italy, of course, now not in the World Cup for 3, I believe, consecutive World Cups. Now, the part about England that's difficult is I'm obviously a USA fan. Like, that's who I'm rooting for. If England's out, I don't really care, but I like having someone to root for. But you are right in that I enjoy heartbreak and misery for other fan bases. And England is the team that suffers through what seems like the worst and the most excruciating heartbreak in these tournaments usually. Like, England is kind of like a little bit of a Minnesota Viking feel when you're watching World Cup teams. There's a bit of it there. Now, they're more of a traditional powerhouse.
They're the favorite to win the tournament, aren't they?
Well, but they always lose. They haven't won an international competition in what, like 50-something, 60 years? Like,
the Vikings are supposed to lose.
No, but the Vikings, like England, they get there. Now, England, yes, England is a little bit more of a powerhouse. The Vikings, I'd say, are more of a middling team that has moments of success and just, historically great teams. But I will say it is entertaining when there's like just a crushing loss for England, because as I do root for them, they're not my team. So I get where you can see me rooting against them would come from, Ziggy. But no, when in a game of Mexico versus England, I'm rooting for my ancestors to beat Mexico.
I don't think Paul really cares about this whole ancestors thing, or else he wouldn't be happy when they lose. I think you're just making stuff up to try and make me mad.
I mean, I make up the rules for my fandom as we go along, much like FIFA does with the Flo Balogun situation. I'm entitled to make up the rules of my fandom.
I'm rooting for tacos and tequila. That's what I was rooting for.
Yeah, that's what Jack texted in our group chat.
The Mexico gives us tacos and tequila and some good Mexican beer too. So that's what I was rooting for.
It was just an amazing game, though. I thoroughly enjoyed it. At moments, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, you finish. No,
I was gonna say at moments I wasn't sure that the England players were going to get off the field. Like, I thought it was going to erupt into chaos in that stadium. It was. That's kind of atmosphere I like.
Does Hey Jude? Do they sing that because of the Jude Bellingham?
Well, that's why. Yeah, that's why they did that. Usually,
that's why they sing that.
Their thing has been Wonderwall after the game.
Yeah, I was going to ask that next. Is Wonderwall like a British song?
I believe Oasis is from England.
All right.
But the Hey Jude thing, I believe, was just an ode to Jude Bellingham, who was unbelievable in that game.
Yeah, what, 2 goals?
Yeah, 2 goals. I mean,
the only 2 legitimate goals from England in the game.
Yeah,
Guys, you know, if the U.S. beats Spain, they're going to be playing in L.A. on Friday, and I'll be in L.A. that day.
Oh no, they beat Belgium, right? They'll be
playing Belgium. Sorry, they'd play Spain in Friday in L.A. and I will be there.
Will that be like $3,000, $4,000 a ticket?
And I'm not going to go to the game, but I'll be in Los Angeles.
Let's see, World Cup.
Ziggy, I'll come visit you. What are you up to?
Oh yeah, why are you guys not going to hang?
Oh, I'm going to the game, Zach.
You're going to the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come to the Dodger game.
If that's what it takes to not have to see you, I'll go to the game. I'll pay whatever.
You guys, wait a minute. You guys should go. Here, I got 2 tickets right here for $2,800 a ticket.
I'm a teacher assistant and work at a summer camp in the summer. I can't do that.
I'm unemployed.
Can the PFS pay for it?
So it would be the show. It would be me buying you guys the tickets.
Can the show pay for it?
Jack, you can probably trade in the new equipment for a ticket.
I actually land in LA like the same time the game starts. Ziggy, hold on, Ziggy.
Oh, that's horrible. You have to change.
Come to the Dodger.
Well, hopefully
the Dodger game on there Friday night.
Oh, a Jack Ziggy hangout in
How
the final
far are you
month
from
of Ziggy on the show?
I'm like 2 hours
from Los Angeles.
Ziggy,
you're close to San Diego.
We'll see. Well, let's talk about football here. This is what people want.
All right, let's get into the NFL roster rankings.
Nobody cares about that. Ziggy, hold on. You live in San Diego or close to San Diego?
And people wonder.
Because I'll be in San Diego too. I'll be in San Fran, LA, and you have no excuse. I'll be everywhere in your perimeter.
Send me a text, Jack. We'll figure
San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego.
Can I remove myself from this thing and make it so it's just the 2 of you guys here? Is that? Oh, I do not like that layout. Can you do that?
2 of us.
Wait, the cameras are
there. We go. No, that was me. I was trying to get the 2 of you on the screen.
Ziggy has no excuse to avoid me.
Ziggy, that's true. All right, we'll find out. Let's do a poll in the comment section. If write yes or no if you think Ziggy should hang out with Jack this weekend in Los Angeles. With that said, we'll get into the NFL roster rankings.
Me and Ziggy we've never chilled by ourselves without Paul.
Yeah, who knows what could happen. Very entertaining. In the roster ranking, so it was for the entire league. We're going to deep dive a little more specifically into the NFC North here, but we'll touch on a couple of the teams that we know listeners of this show or hosts of this show like to talk about or cheer on. We'll go. So we'll build it up in case you haven't seen the article before. What we'll do is we'll just tell you. We'll go from the lowest ranked NFC North team to the highest, and just kind of go through what some of the things that were said about them were. So the number 4 NFC North team coming in at number 22 in the power rankings were the Minnesota Vikings. Now, to me and to Ziggy, 22. Yes, Jack's laughing here. 22 is an insulting ranking for a team that was just on the border of going into the playoffs last season with some of the worst quarterback play in the history of the league. In the article, the biggest strength for the Vikings was their pass catchers, the group of Jefferson, Addison, Juwan Jennings, TJ Hawkinson, who got a little bit of love and a decent amount of hate in the article. Biggest weakness was running back. They were citing Aaron Jones' struggles last season as he's gotten older. As one of the, I think statistically, he was the least elusive running back in football. And Jordan Mason, they liked, but said his lack of abilities as a pass catcher held him back. And the X factor, amazingly, the X factor for the 2026 Vikings. No, not quarterback, interior offensive line was listed as our X factor for next season, which is
because they know that Kyler Murray's going to be great.
It's a good X factor. If we didn't have, without a doubt, I would say the most intriguing quarterback battle, and dare you could say, one of the more complete rosters outside of quarterback in the entire league. So I'm upset about that, Ziggy. But why don't you?
I'll tell you, Jack, why you should agree with us, because I can tell Jack's sitting back there thinking, "Oh, I don't know."
Well, Jack's laughing his ass off at this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's why. Jack,
Also,
do running backs matter? Yes or no?
Go ahead. Do running backs matter?
Yes or no?
No.
So if you're talking about a team and their biggest strength is pass catchers and their biggest weakness is running back, and they say, well, one of the running backs is great at running, but he's not good at catching the ball, because you forgot that you said in the previous paragraph they have an unbelievable number of elite targets. Would you say that's one of the worst teams in the NFL?
If your quarterback stinks, yeah.
Yeah, well, your quarterback's a multi-time Pro Bowler set for one of the greatest comeback seasons in the history of football, second only to Sam Darnold for the Minnesota Vikings 2 years ago.
He hasn't played good football in years.
He hasn't played good football in months. I'll give you that. It's been a while since he's been on the field.
Whoever set this ranking knows.
They're just not.
Kyler Murray's not a good NFL quarterback. Yeah, he's just not good.
So I looked at the teams directly.
That's what it is. That's why they're 22.
Leading in, so the Bears are at 17, and we'll get to them in a moment here. But between the Bears and the Vikings, you have the Commanders at 21, Indianapolis at 20, the Steelers at 19, and the Buccaneers at 18. Now, if you strip all those teams of their quarterbacks, whose roster are you taking? Now, bear with me here, because I understand that quarterback's the most important position. But if you did strip the Commanders and the Vikings, right? By the way, the Vikings and Commanders played last season. Does anyone know what the score was?
Utter humiliation for the Washington Commanders.
30-0 Vikings.
30-0.
31-0.
Who's playing quarterback?
JJ McCarthy.
Who played quarterback for them that game?
Oh, we beat them 31-0 with JJ McCarthy, and they had Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh, Jade
31-0, everyone out there. Jaden Daniels played in that game, and JJ McCarthy played. It was one of his better games.
Well, wasn't Washington? Washington stinks too.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying, as far as if you're ranking the Vikings and the Commanders, the Vikings have gotten much better at quarterback, you'd say, and they beat them 31-0 last year already. So they should be ahead of them. The Colts at 20. I thought that was a pretty aggressive ranking for a Colts team who right now, if the season started, they would have Anthony Richardson or, we love him, Riley Leonard at quarterback, Daniel Jones recovering from a pretty serious injury. That is a ranking that is incorrect. Then you move up to 19, the Pittsburgh Steelers there. Jack, I love your team. I love that you are such a big Steeler fan. I root for them for you. I actually do, despite what you think. But that team is not better than the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense is old and is a unit that is not produced at the levels that we expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers still has some magic in the tank, but that offense is not better than the Vikings offense either. Jump them, and then you have 18.
Oh, we were better. We were better than you last year.
Then you had the Buccaneers, who fell off the face of the earth last season and lost the division to Bryce Young's Carolina Panthers, who we know on this show there are a handful of people who do not like Bryce Young. The Buccaneers could not beat them out for the division. So whether or not you want to get into Vikings versus Bears for number 17, okay. But putting the Vikings at 22 is a little low to me for a team that had a major upgrade at the most important position and already was half a game out of the playoffs. Is that fair?
All those teams you listed ahead of the Vikings, except the Panthers, should be higher than the Vikings.
Well, no, the Panthers are actually below the Vikings.
The Bucks. Yeah. The Bucks are terrible.
Can anybody tell me what we see in? Let's set the Steelers aside because I know you can't be fair about that. What do we see in the Washington Commanders
totally fair.
Besides the worst defense in football and an offense that even when Jaden Daniels played last year was terrible?
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
An NFC chip 2 years ago.
It's the exact same thing. Yes, it's the exact same thing that other NFC North fans get mad about when we talk about the 2023 Jordan Love run with the Packers. People talk about the Jay Daniels NFC Championship run and say, and that still influences their opinion of the Commanders. That's really what it is.
But I mean, I think that's fine.
And I think it's okay too, because we know Jay Daniels can be that good, and he was pretty banged up last season. But I mean, that is not top to bottom. I mean, it's not a very impressive football team.
Is there one? So like they've got Jaden Daniels, they've got Laramie Tunsil. I know people are excited about Sonny Styles. Those are the only three players on the team that are above average at their position.
Who'd you say? Jaden Daniels, Laramie Tunsil, and who?
People are excited about Sonny Styles.
Oh, Sonny Styles, so a rookie. Yeah, I mean, I like Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin's a good player too.
He was great 3 years ago.
I mean, there's a few pieces that you can like in Washington, but just, I mean, I don't think that. Again, if you remove Jane Daniels and Kyler Murray, I don't think the rosters are close. I think the Vikings are far superior to them. Better coaches, like it's honestly pretty horrendous to have that ranking right there.
Daniels is far superior to Kyler.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have Jane Daniels, but I don't. He's got to be on the field too. I mean, I know that you could argue that with Kyler's head injuries, but I don't think Jane Daniels. Again, we beat the crap out of him last season.
But Jane Daniels was that like what, week 14?
It was later in the year, but I mean, that's not. Jane Daniels was not the Jane Daniels of his rookie season.
He wasn't. But I'm saying, like, the Commanders are probably out. He was hurt, right? Coming up, wasn't he injured last year? They were probably out by week 14.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's just there's not enough around the rest of the roster to me to justify. I don't think Jane Daniels is that much better at this point in time. Now, he could be. I mean, if he gets back to old form, sure. But we just haven't seen that Jane Daniels in a while now. So I'd like to see that before putting a ranking there.
I just think a team who was in the NFC chip 2 seasons ago is justifiable to put ahead of the Vikings. I think it's justifiable.
Well, speaking of teams that are being ranked highly because they had one good year after a lot of misery, how about we move to this next team?
So Chicago Bears come in at 17. The biggest... Have you read the article, Ziggy?
Yeah, I've read it.
Okay, I was going to see if you could guess there. I'll just reveal it. The biggest strength...
I don't remember.
Oh, what do you think? The biggest strength for the Bears?
I read it.
The biggest strength for the Bears has got to be...
Jack, you can feel free.
Pass catching depth? I guess pass catchers.
Okay, I didn't read it.
No, they traded DJ Moore. I'm going O-line.
No, Jack, the biggest strength for the Bears?
Yeah, Bears' biggest strength.
Their tight ends. Is that a thing? Could that be a thing?
I actually do like that. Yeah, with the Loveland, Komet, and whoever the
or would that just be like, would that count as like pass catchers and receivers?
No. You can. They kind of blurred the lines as to what is acceptable as the biggest strength. Like some people said secondary, some people said safeties. Yeah, offensive line was the unit. I don't think
Oh,
tight end's a bad unit though in Chicago. So offensive line was the biggest strength in Chicago, as you guys know. They had the complete overhaul of the interior last year. Went from 68 sacks allowed in 2024 down to, I believe, just 24 last season. A little bit more mix up this offseason with Drew Dahlman retiring. They bring in Garrett Bradbury, who you guys know we feel certain ways about on this show, although apparently he's amazing as the Patriots center last season. So a little bit of shakeup there. Biggest weakness, any guess?
The quarterback. No.
The defense. Just the whole defense.
It was the defense.
Wait, it was the whole defense? Because I was
No. It was defensive.
Oh.
I see.
The defensive line was ranked as the weakness there. They were 31st in pass rush win rate and 26 in run stop win rate last season. And this is something we talked about after the draft. The Bears really didn't address it either. They're relying on Dio Adenigbo coming back from a pretty big injury of his Achilles last year. He wasn't great before that. Austin Booker, you're expecting a leap next season as he's entering year 3, but he hasn't had a full season of play yet with the Bears. So you're looking for that next running mate next to Montez Sweat on the outside. They didn't really do much to address it. So they said that D-line was the big weakness. And the X factor was Caleb Williams, who what they brought up was accuracy and completion percentage, right? Ranked pretty low, literally last among QBR qualifying QBs in off-target rate and completion percentage over expected last season. So 17 for the Bears. They have them below league average here. Do you guys think the Bears ranking in the bottom half of teams is a bit of a slight to a team that was a play away from the NFC Championship game last year?
I think that is fair. But for me, it's not. I'm not worried about Caleb Williams and completion percentage. People think I'm the Bears hater. I'm just going to continue to hate on them. It's difficult.
You're a
for
Packers fan, yeah.
Like 17 for the Chicago Bears is basically saying we're going to expect them to be about a league average team this year. And last year, the Bears were about a league average team that had a lot of lucky things break the way to push them up. And fair enough, but league average means you should be expected to be in the playoff conversation. It means making the playoffs wouldn't be a surprise. And if things break your way, you can win a playoff game. That's who the Chicago Bears were last year. Why should we expect them to be way better this year? Because Caleb Williams is going to be way better?
Okay, Ziggy. What I'd just like you to say, because I do agree with you, right? The Bears' turnover margin last season it's just not sustainable year over. It could happen this season, but it's just not a sustainable year over year thing to do. We've seen it. We've seen teams have this. We saw the 2017 Bears do this. And when that number comes down, the Bears defense did not rank highly in most categories, but turnover percentage was by far the best in the league. So I agree with you there. And then they had a couple of big time comebacks. And right, as a Viking fan, we know in 2022, we're 11-0 in one score games. Following season, games just don't break your way all the time. So the numbers there tell you that, okay, the Bears kind of had everything work in their favor as far as the quote unquote luck stats could go. Now, I do believe that, Caleb Williams being clutch, there is a clutch gene. We acknowledge that. But when Bears fans are going to come and respond to you, Ziggy, and be like, hey, he's just a Packer homer, Viking homer. What would you say to them would you say, look at the numbers?
I mean, here's what I would say. I would say I was beating exactly the same drum about the Minnesota Vikings when they had a high variant season. And you said, Ziggy, why can't you just be a fan of the Vikings? And I said, I go where the numbers lead me. If things break right for the Chicago Bears, if everything breaks right, they could win a Super Bowl. If Caleb Williams takes the next step forward, and if the defense is close to as good as last year, I'll be putting them on my Super Bowl list come week 5.
They're not on your list right now.
I need to see, but both of those things I think are asking a lot, and they need both of them to happen. Now, if Caleb Williams is as good as last year and the defense takes a step back, they will be competing to win the division, and they will be competing for a playoff spot. But I think we will see a big difference between them and the top teams, which is what you should expect for a team at 16, right? That just means they need to get a little bit better in their borderline top 10. But that's it.
Jack,
Yeah,
what do you
whatever.
think?
We're saying they're average. I how do I feel about the Bears versus the Jaguars versus the Bengals, that 17, 16, 15, whatever? I think the Bears will be an average team next year. And honestly, for the Bears, that's a great outcome because they can continue to build on this and in a year or two really be ready to take things on.
What do you think about Jack 17?
I think the Bears, having won a very hard and competitive NFC North and then getting the chance to host 2 playoff games while Caleb Williams showed drastic improvement, I feel like 17 is a little bit low.
It's a little disrespectful. It is.
Like, that seems a bit disrespectful to me. I mean, they finished the year as what, a top, not including, but I mean, they finished the regular season as a top 4 team in the NFL.
By seeding.
Finished the season as a top 8 team in the NFL. What's the reason? What's the reason to believe they're not going to win the North again and get that be the same exact team?
I'd imagine they're looking at the defense and they're saying, if you're going to draw reasons for why the Bears might take a step back, it's the defense with the turnover numbers coming down, losing most of the secondary and replacing them. And I like Kobe Bryant. I think Dylan, I can never pronounce his name, Tiedemann. Like those are solid replacements. You expect the safety room to be good. And you still have Jalen Johnson there. So it's just there's a lot of moving pieces in the secondary combined with the D-line that wasn't great.
I understand it because it's not like the Rams and the Seahawks. We watched the Bears all of last year, and any given Sunday, a team could have beaten the Bears. Like, we knew that. Yeah. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's like they can be beaten by anybody. Like, is there a difference in, one game with Jacksonville and Cincinnati? These teams right there with them. I don't know. I just think that the results and like what they were able to do last year, they should be shown some more respect when it comes to these. Like that they should be put at least in the top 13 or top 12.
There are two big ifs with the Bears here. If the defense can hold up and just be an average unit, right? Because the turnover numbers will come down. But if the defense can be average, and if Caleb Williams takes another jump, which he already took a big jump last year, then you're talking about a top 10 team in football and a Super Bowl contender. If Caleb kind of fizzles out at this area and has spectacular plays, but still has some questionable gunslinger moments, which I'm not, again, guys, he brought those numbers much improved last season as far as turnovers and sacks. And the defense is able, again, to just be okay. Yeah, this team should be really, really good. And I think they will be really, really good. I think it's a disrespectful number.
It is incredible that in this ranking, the Chicago Bears are lower this year than they were last year. Last year, they were 15.
Yeah, let me ask you guys something. Go ahead, Jack, then I'll ask you a question.
We did see the issues several times. Like, go back to that playoff game, even though they won the game, hosting Green Bay, when Jordan Love could just stand back in the pocket, have a cup of tea, and find an open receiver, and it was 21-3 off the bat.
Yeah, it took another collapse from the Packers.
Right. Like, we did see a lot of that last year with Chicago. Like, a complete, utter collapse from the Packers, or you're out in the first round. And we're probably talking about this team a little bit differently, losing in the wildcard round as opposed to the next round and getting into that other home game. I just think with the results, like with the end results and what Chicago was able to do, throw a little bit of a bone higher than 17.
Where would you guys, before we move on to the next team on the list, I would like to ask you, when would you say, tell me stop, okay, when you say it's unreasonable to have the Bears ahead of this team? Jacksonville, 16. 15, Cincinnati.
Unreasonable.
Jack, you still going?
Yeah, the Bears are better than Cincinnati.
14, Cowboys. 13, Chargers. 12, Chiefs. 11, 49ers. Keep going. 10 takes us to the Green Bay Packers. 9, Houston Texans. This is my guess for where you have it stop. The Broncos at 8.
I'd probably say I stop there. Yeah, I think Denver's better than Chicago.
So you think that the range for the right range for Chicago, 9 to 7, 9 like could go as high as 9, which is exactly what you just said. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair too. By the way, for what it's worth, I would have no if they had the Bears over the Texans, I'd be like, I trust the Texans defense more than any unit among the two teams. But if the Texans played the Bears in week 1 on a neutral field,
I don't think the Texans
who do you think's going to be favored in that game?
I think the Texans are better, like that much better than the Bears.
I don't know if they are. I mean, their defense might win the game for them, but the Houston offense, I'm not a believer in. So, yeah, just interesting. Okay, so Green Bay came in at 10 here. Biggest strength, Ziggy, you got a guess?
Biggest strength, I'm guessing quarterback.
That's what I would guess too.
Quarterback was the number 2 on the list. They went safety with McKinney and Evan Williams and Javon Bullard as a fill-in. I didn't really like it, but it's a good unit.
It's a great safety room.
It's a very good safety room. Yeah. We talked about this before. Do the Packers have superstars, right? Like, who are the Packers superstars? If you were to name them, it's Micah, it's
Love,
maybe Tucker Kraft, and Love. And maybe Love, depending on who you talk to. I would call Love. I mean, if we're getting technical, I might say star. I don't think I call him a superstar. But I call him a star. Is that Ziggy? Come on, is that fair?
Give me the criteria between superstar and star.
Superstar.
Give me the necessary and sufficient conditions.
Superstar's Josh Allen.
Superstar's Josh Allen's tier of quarterbacks.
No, that's just pointing at a player. What's the difference between being a star and a superstar? Give me the necessary and sufficient conditions.
It's like a hero versus superhero. Right? Batman's a hero. He has no superpower.
I would say a superstar is someone who I would say basically every week shows up in top tier form, giving your team a chance to win any football game, and is across the top of the league in most metrics.
Oh, so Josh Allen's not a superstar.
And what metric are you upset about with Josh?
I'm upset about the fact that there were plenty of games last year where he did not show up ready to play and didn't give his team a chance to win.
This is a silly little debate.
Yeah,
we're just making stuff up.
I have to think on it more.
He's a star.
We're tier ranking. I think that Josh Allen is in another tier of quarterbacks than Jordan Love. I would say he's in the top tier. Jordan Love's in the second tier. But we don't.
Hey, Josh Allen's a lot more famous. If that's what you mean, I totally agree.
Okay, I think Jordan Love's really good too.
If Jordan Love plays for Dallas, you're calling him a superstar on the face of the NFL.
We might. I mean, there's power in Dallas, but I think Dak Prescott and Jordan Love are in the same tier. I'd rank Jordan Love ahead of Dak Prescott.
What would Packer fans do if they traded Jordan Love for Josh Allen straight up?
Probably be happy.
They'd be thrilled because
they'd be through the roof.
And Jordan Love could get there this year. Jordan Love could get there this year. I've been loving, by the way, guys. There is some great, like the Bears fans. The more I'm diving into, again, I'm getting settled in here, just getting the couch today, right? As I've been diving more back into just articles that people are writing, the Bears, we're gonna have a real treat with Bears media over the next 2 months, because some of the stuff that's coming out with one, they're super bullish on their team coming into the season, and two, they are willing to fight with the other NFC North teams right now, which I don't blame them. It's been a while in Chicago, but there are articles coming out. Someone on thewindycity.com wrote an article about how the Vikings are completely irrelevant to the Bears next season. I was like, bro, we were 1-1 and we almost beat you in the second game in Minnesota, if not for a kick return. And the Packers fans are arguing about Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams. I mean, there's a lot of animosity stored up here in the NFC North that I think it's going to rear potentially an ugly head over the next few months.
Speaking of rearing an ugly head, can I guess what the Packers' biggest weakness is?
Please.
Defensive line for everyone not named Micah Parsons.
They narrowed it down to interior defensive line, but I think that you're justified in saying the the D-line outside of
They just didn't want to write a long title because that's the weakness.
Yes. Well, actually, I think you're right. The Packers, they said last season pass rush was solid in Green Bay, but they were 24th in run stop win rate. Obviously, they need someone other than Micah to step up, and Micah's going to be out for potentially 8 weeks next season. Half the season is the last we heard there. So it's definitely an area of concern for Green Bay. The X factor, their run pass ratio. This is where everyone had like a player or a head coach or something, and for the Packers, we had their run pass ratio.
What? How does that make it?
Like the play calling, which actually was kind of interesting. It was they said the Packers EPA per play on designed passes was 0.21 last year. Again, we're not going to get into what's good and bad EPA.
High school GPA.
Just know they had the second best EPA per play on designed passes last year, and on designed runs they were 16th in the league, so a middle number. And they said despite that gap, right, big gap between passing and running plays, the Packers were 26th in pass rate over expected. So they did not throw the ball as much as they should have, basically, or were expected to, is what that stat's saying. And pretty much it says if Green Bay puts the ball in Jordan Love's hands, they should win more games, which would support our theory of Jordan Love being the biggest strength. But yeah, I thought a weird X factor in 2026 for Green Bay.
I think that all of those types of stats are like a huge load of crap.
Well, the stats aren't crap. The stats are stats.
No, but I mean like all those different types of stats that they have. Or like the metrics, I guess.
You're an eye test guy.
I mean, Ziggy will disagree. I'm going to miss arguing with Ziggy about these.
Oh, well, Jack, you don't need to, let's set the metrics aside. Did Josh Jacobs look good last year? Not really. Did Jordan Love look great last year when he threw in like 14 games for 3,500 yards and 4 times as many touchdowns as interceptions? Yes. Like when the Packers actually let Jordan Love throw the ball, you could see this offense look great. And the games where they struggled to win, Jordan Love usually didn't get a lot of opportunities.
I thought Jacobs was good.
Well, I thought Jacobs, his numbers weren't typical Josh Jacobs numbers, but there were a couple games where you looked at the stat sheet and you said, Josh Jacobs didn't play too well. But if you watch the game, like, losing runs.
I do think that quarterback should throw like 50 times a game. Like,
if you look at the worst games for the Packers last year, the Cleveland game, the Philadelphia game, the Chicago game in the regular season, even the Chicago game in the playoffs especially, Jacobs wasn't moving the ball at all, and they'd give it to him like 20 times with him averaging 2 or 3 yards a carry. Like, it was a huge problem for them.
I understand it, but I just think all these like, expected, blah, 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 all these like letters and numbers.
It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, you can't read. I get it.
I don't comprehend all that.
We know.
Like I'm going out. If my quarterback's throwing well on a Sunday, I keep throwing. If he's terrible, hand the ball off. That's what I'm doing. Like I know all these people who are like studying like analytics at like college, and one of our friends goes to Syracuse and he studies sports analytics. So I'm like, dude, like I can do, like you can do that now. Like, it's
we used to have a Max. We used to have a
take a pitch.
Analytic expert on the Paul Farrington show.
Well, actually,
he's currently a data scientist for the Reds.
Jordan loves 0 for 10 to start the game. Let's hand the ball off. It's 3-0 count. Let's take a strike.
I know that there are probably a lot of listeners who are sitting back and saying, like, here goes Jack arguing against stats, right? And like, but there is actually an argument to be had on Jack's behalf here and they were talking about a lot during the World Cup, right? With Brazil getting knocked out by Norway. Like I've heard extensive analysis on a lot of teams are turning their attention more and more towards analytics. And sometimes there is just a feel to a game. Like that does matter. I totally get what you're saying, Jack. I don't think that you should ignore analytics, but there are times where I think the best coaches in football are ones who can put aside the numbers. I mean, remember there were some times where last season, I'm trying to remember who was it. Was it, Dan Campbell's a great example. Dan Campbell, he's super aggressive. There are times where Dan Campbell just has a feel and he goes for it. Now, sometimes I disagree with that, right? But that's won the Lions some games. Like the feel for a game does matter. And something that I think, especially in baseball, right? I mean, I know baseball's completely analytics driven. NBA's too. We're moving in that direction in all sports, but
it all falls
there's
into the
something to be
same
said.
type of thing. I mean, football, you see it too. Yeah, I mean, it's
By the way,
like,
can I say
guy on third,
very,
one
very
out.
off the very off topic? This just shows my ADHD brain here. If you were Jack, the shift was banned in baseball, correct?
Yes,
It was, but there's
I just think
there's
that is-
modifications.
I think that's just one. Yeah, I think that's just one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in sports. If you
Yeah, I
have someone off the bat who can't hit to one side of the field, you know what? Learn how to hit to the other side of the field. You're
No, I
professional
totally
baseball.
agree.
Is that not the dumbest thing? Like, could you imagine if like someone like they looked and Caleb Williams struggled throwing to his left, and they're like, okay, you know what? For this, we're not going to allow safety help on the left side so that we can have more explosive plays for Caleb Williams.
But
what the hell are we talking?
The other side of the coin, I agree with you. I think it's stupid to ban a shift, but like the other side of the ball is there are set positions. Like there are 9 positions. There's third base, shortstop. You know.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Like, I understand it. The shortstop is not meant to play standing behind second base.
Sure,
That's like
I get it. Yes,
that's like
I
if you're
get what they want.
like if there's a lefty up and you bring your third baseman to play over at second base. I mean, that would be like
No,
Like,
I get it. I totally get it. But what
can
I'm
your
saying is,
offensive
like,
line play out where wide receivers play? It's like
No,
I
yeah,
don't know.
there is
There's
formation.
positions.
Yeah,
There's formations and there's positions.
Yeah, I get it. It just seems to me when you leave one half of the field completely undefended, if you're a big league player, you should be able to.
Oh, I
to
agree with that. I totally agree with that. I do.
Not to turn into a baseball pod.
No, I'm anti-analyst. I'm not an analyst guy. Like
I will just speak
Steelers
up
had-
on the MLB's defense. A lot of the reason why they banned it was to make the game faster because shifts took time. It was there's
Sure.
a reason it was banned at the same time they rolled out the pitch clock.
Remember when we had Roethlisberger
Yes.
and and he had back-to-back games, right? Where he had 500 plus yards against the Colts and against the Ravens. Like if Roethlisberger's just on fire, oh my God, Le'Veon Bell, go sit on the bench, you're doing nothing. If Roethlisberger's struggling, all right, here's Le'Veon Bell. Like, it's just a feel for how that game is going each day.
Yeah.
Like
I'm a field guy too.
What expected, blah, 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 blah.
So, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
We got a couple more things here, then we're going to wrap this up. Was 10 a fair ranking for the Packers in your guys' eyes?
I'd have him a little higher, but especially with the injuries starting the season, I do not think it's unreasonable.
Okay. I'm also
that's
okay with 10 here. Yeah. So as we move up to our last team, the Lions are ranked number 1 in the NFC North. We go number 9, the Texans, as we said, 8, Denver, 7, the Patriots. How high can they go? They come in at number 6, the Detroit Lions, just behind the Ravens.
The
at
Lions?
5. Yep. The Ravens at 5, Bills at 4, Seahawks 3, Eagles number 2 roster, Rams number 1 roster.
What are the Eagles doing at 1?
Now, maybe this
Or
is where
2.
you get the difference. This could be the difference here, Ziggy, between power rankings and roster rankings is as opposed to the power rankings, which is, who's winning on a given Sunday. They're saying the Eagles have a more complete roster. And I think
so
that's
we get
fair.
mega punished for having a bad quarterback situation, but the Eagles don't.
Guys,
okay.
They've Hurts.
Yes.
They've Jalen Hurts.
Here we go. No, so
Jalen Hurts
that's
is a
true, Ziggy.
quarterback.
You're right. That's another gripe we can have. Why are the Eagles getting put at number 2 on this list for having a complete roster when the Vikings are 22? And
The Eagles are better than the Vikings.
is Jalen? No. I agree with you. But
No, by a lot.
what they're doing is they're bumping Philly up for having a really good team with a quarterback who's solid, right? I like Jalen Hurts, but I don't think I think he's borderline top 10. I think he's probably closer to like 10 to 16 range. While the Vikings have a very talented roster, but are getting nixed completely because people hate Kyler and JJ. Anyway, this is the Lions part here. The Lions come in at number 6. They say in Detroit, the biggest strength, offensive playmakers. Fair enough. Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Laporta, J-Mo. Biggest weakness, and this is something we talked a lot about last week following the Terry and Arnold release, the secondary. And it's not just because Terry and Arnold was released here. It's the injuries to Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. How are they going to come back from a knee and an Achilles injury? You're going to have, of course, Terry Arnold replaced with either Roger McCreary or Rock Yassin, and both in some capacity. And then you also have DJ Reed, who was nicked up last year as well. So when we look at Detroit here, guys, they come in at 6. I said I think they can win as many as 13 games here. Fair ranking.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking, like you just said, the difference in roster rankings versus power rankings, like if this was a power ranking, I do think it's a little bit unfair to have, the Lions at 6. I mean, the Bears looking at this like, oh, we won the division. We were better than the Lions last year, and we're 17, they're 6.
Yeah.
But if you do look at the roster up and down, this Lions roster is probably a top 5 through 7 team in the NFL. So I actually don't hate that.
Yeah, the big question for me of the Lions this year, and that's mentioned in this article, is offensive line. I'm actually not very worried about the defense, not because I think the defense will be great, but because if the offensive line for the Lions can return to form and be as good as it was in 2024 and 2023, they can score 40 points any game that they want. Right? The offensive playmakers are ridiculous. Jared Goff can feed them all at an extremely high level. He can put up MVP level numbers. The defense doesn't need to do a lot. They just need to generate a takeaway or a change of possession or whatever. So we'll see how the offensive line goes. Obviously, Blake Miller and the tackle swap is a big deal. Christian Mahogany needs to play better, and Juice Scruggs is not going to get it done. But if the offensive line can just be as good as it was, if they can return to having a top 5 offensive line, which I don't think is a ridiculous ask for the Lions.
No, but it's still, I mean, that's a big if. Yeah.
But if they can do it, that's why I said it's the big question. If they can do it, I'm not worried at all about the secondary. I don't care about the defense at all. You can just stomp on their throat on offense for 55 minutes a game, convert every 4th down, and win.
That's a risky way of playing. That's a risky
But the Lions have won 13 and 14 games playing that way.
Yeah, but they've also been bounced.
I did tell you guys, right?
Yeah.
That I played pong with Christian Mahogany. I played beer pong.
I did hear about that
in college.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yeah, I remember that.
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm okay with the ranking of 6. I
appreciate that someone's respecting the Lions in the national media. I think this team is being completely overlooked, which is very frustrating.
Agree with you. I think they are a Super Bowl contending team. I also think that if you had them ranked, I mean, we could go all the way down. I think arguably you could have them 15 if you wanted to. Now I wouldn't. That's not where I would put them, but if you were just going to make arguments for it, you could have the Bears ahead of the Lions. You could move, the Lions' range too can also be quite big. Their ceiling is extraordinarily high. They're going to win a lot of games, especially because of the schedule. We know what they do to bad teams. They pummel them into the ground. But the Lions are absolutely a team with a lot of question marks that need to be sorted out. Where when you have them number 6, I mean, number 6 roster in the league is nothing to nothing to scoff at. They're saying to you right here, the Lions have a Super Bowl roster. That's the indication when you have them that high. And for me,
do.
I agree. But there are big ifs of, okay, are they going to get more production on the outside other than Aiden Hutchinson? They have the rookie. Who's the rookie they got? Derek what? Derek
what?
Who'd they draft? The Michigan kid, whatever. They had the Michigan kid that they drafted. Are you going to get production there? DJ Wanham's coming in after they had some departures. What happens with the secondary? What happens with particularly that right side of the offensive? I mean, there's offensive line questions across the board. There's so many things that need to go right in Detroit that I think all of them can, honestly. But it's not to have them at number 6 with that many question marks. It's just a bullish ranking for the Lions, which I don't mind it, but this team could be either a bona fide Super Bowl contender, or I think the floor is probably crashing out kind of like they did last season.
So, Paul, just to ask, right? Like,
Do you guys think that?
go ahead, Jack.
No, you got it. You got it. You got
So
it.
the Lions
first, you go
start
first.
their year. Saints at home, at Buffalo, Jets at home, on the road to Panthers, on the road to Cardinals. If you see anything other than 4-1, are you thinking this Lions team doesn't have it, or are you waiting until the tougher second half of the season to make a judgment on this team?
I mean, if they're not 3-2, then I'd say if the Lions start off the year 2-3, then okay, like something's got to change here.
Is there a point this season where when are you going to feel comfortable making a judgment on the Lions, just given that they've got a really soft start to the year?
The thing is, though, it's like most of their games are pretty soft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there a part of the schedule you're looking at, Ziggy, in particular?
Like, does it really ever pick up?
I think the stretch from where they play the Patriots at home, like that Patriots, Bucks, Bears games, it's tough to say that's like the harder stretch, but that's like mid-November.
I mean, those are tough games.
If they look good in that stretch, I'm going to be a lot more confident in this team. But I think until the end of November rolls around, it's going to be very hard to decide what this team is.
There's been so many occasions where we've talked about how important it is for a team to start strong because their schedule picks up. Whereas this year, if the Lions were to be 3-2 and lose a couple of games, I'm not hitting the panic button.
Yeah, no, neither am I.
I think anybody on this schedule, the Lions will probably be favored against, unless they're in Green Bay.
That typically, like when they get rolling, they're rolling. So if they're let's say they're 3-2 to start the year, maybe they lose in Buffalo and they lose like in Carolina or something like that. It's a night game, which I don't think they will lose. But let's say they're 3-2. Like, yeah, I'm not worried about them being able to turn it on. Ziggy, I'd say by mid-October. I'd say like mid-October early November, we'll have a little bit of an idea because then you'll have the Packers and Vikings first two games, both in Detroit, by the way, will be done. And if they lose both of those or something and they're down in the division, like, okay, maybe we can make some calls. But if they're 3-2 or 4, then I'm not going to be too worried. Even if they're 2-3, I might raise an eyebrow, but it would take a little while for me to actually write them off because I think they're good enough to get hot.
So you're saying it's not until that Vikings game that we're going to know who the Lions are because the Minnesota Vikings are that team. That's what I think too. If you can beat the Vikings next year, you're a Super Bowl contender.
That's. I know you're joking around a little bit, but I do think there's a little bit. I mean,
this is a juggernaut roster. If Kyler Murray's good, we said it earlier in the show. This could be a top 10 roster. Do you remember last year? I'm trying to think of which team was it that we said that's the bar where if you beat them, they're good, and if you lose to them, they're bad.
The Panthers.
I think that's what the Minnesota Vikings are going to be next year. We're going to be the NFL's bar team. If you can beat us, you're legit. If you lose to us, you suck.
We also said the Seahawks last year.
Well, we said that was the 2024.
That was the Geno. That was the Geno Seahawks.
Oh,
that was no. They were the bar from good to great. They were the bar from good to great, which I actually think still kind of fit. Even I mean, they got really good. Right, the defense was awesome.
Actually, the Vikings are a pretty good bar team.
No, the Vikings are. Yeah, they are. They are.
I like the Steelers are too.
The Steelers are a great bar team as well.
Yeah, they're a great bar team.
We'll have to make that a thing for next year. The bar team.
The bar teams. Yeah. Remember last year the Steelers beat the Lions?
Yeah.
Remember I said the
playoffs.
Remember I said Lions like in that game, whatever the spread was the lock of the year for months.
Yes,
we remember.
By the way, Ziggy, that Patriots, Bucks, Bears run that they have, all of those games. Sorry, I should say no road games. I believe one of them's in Germany, but the Bucks and Bears are both at home for Detroit. Okay, we'll wrap it up there. But I will say, Ziggy, just to go off of that final thing you said, let's assume they're 3-2 going into, and I think they'll be 4-1 going into the Packers and Vikings games, which they both host at the end of October, early November. The reason I think that's the key area to circle is, let's say they're 4-1. If they win both those games and go to 6-1, or they go to 5-2, and take control of the North, right? That to me, it's like, all right, you've shifted gears, and now you're being viewed as a big time contender. That's when we first start seeing some of the graphics of like who's leading the conference. in the event that they're 3-2 and that, let's say they split it, they're 4-3, they lose both of them 3-4, still more of a race in the North probably, or they don't have a grip on it. I think that's a really key 2 games that they have at home where they should be coming in with a winning record. But the whole North should be bullish.
Off of season 2 where they missed the postseason, like it's I would look out for
yeah, they're going to be hungry to start. If you're like, I'm trying to think about which game it is, but realistically, like if you have to play the Lions, like if you're the Saints playing the Lions week 1, that might be 50-0. You might just get your ass kicked. Like, this Lions team is like, it's going to be the Saints. Oh, we're looking at the second-year quarterback. Oh, there's so much to look forward to. Tyler Shutt took such a step forward. The healthy Detroit Lions are just going to pound them week 1 and then turn that over into a Thursday night game in Buffalo. Like, if I could place a bet right now, Lions of -20 versus the Saints and the Buffalo money line might be the lock of the year.
Hold on, do you guys
like bearish and bullish?
Are you guys rooting? If Norway wins the World Cup, could it be the year of the Viking?
Yeah, it could be. Shoot, I didn't think
so. Like, who are you rooting for if Norway plays the U.S. in the World Cup?
Oh, I'm rooting for the U.S.
Oh, you're rooting for the U.S. But if you told me like, hey, it's the year of the Viking,
it's the year of the Viking.
If they just said, and by they, I guess I don't know who I'm talking about, but if it was said Norway wins the World Cup, it is the year of the Viking. There's a piece of me that goes like, all right, this is.
What if? So let's say.
Paul, hold on. I just have to say, Paul, what would be more Minnesota Vikings than it's the year of the Viking and we lose in the first round of the playoffs after looking good all year?
Well, that's why I'm so hesitant.
No, the year of the Viking probably means the Vikings win the Super Bowl.
You would think.
The year of the Vikings.
Nothing is more Minnesota Vikings than losing in heartbreaking fashion in the year of the Vikings.
Could it be like the Vikings lose the worst game in the history of football, and it's just like, hey, this is the year of the something crazy happens.
How pumped would you be if like Norway won it? Then the Vikings home opener next year, Haaland is on like midfield.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jack. If the U.S. is knocked out and then England gets knocked out, like. I do have sympathy for Norway, given that they're Vikings.
Row. Wouldn't you row?
Like, and maybe that's a weird thing, but I don't know. Like, I feel a connection to Norway because of the Viking connection.
That's normal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. The U.S. game's about to start. We'll enjoy that. Hopefully, we're talking about a U.S. win later this week against Belgium. Ziggy, Jack, great stuff. We'll see you guys on Thursday.